Hello everyone and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings today. Oh, I should change that. I think this is 2017 if I remember right. Alright, so let's see what the status is. 3 scenes played with Anna and 3 with Bryce. Loss, Intuition, Superstition. We should be in Chapter 4, I would imagine. We can just straight up get some well-deserved rest. Alright, so we've already met with Bryce? No, we haven't met with Bryce. What? Okay, how do we get some well-deserved rest while we have simultaneously not met with anyone in Chapter 4? Oh no, of course not, because this is Chapter 4, so we can meet with Bryce again. That would explain it. Alright, so, me being a derp for a minute. Alright, so, this should be Chapter 4. Anna's coming to visit with us. Yeah, there she is. We just, just making sure I have my link posted in Discord here. Right, so Anna looks rather distressed, and hey, that's never happened before, has it? Wait, what did she just say? Okay, so she didn't say, we said, hey Anna! Yes, perfect timing. Thank you for joining, Seals. Thank you, Justin. Hey! What's going on? You sounded pretty worried on the phone. Worried? If I was worried, it would mean I was afraid of something that might happen, but I'm way beyond that. I know exactly what's going to happen to me, and now she looks rather angry again. It's over. It's all over. What are you talking about? First they came to my lab, and now they went to my home too. And this would be in the previous chapter when we were doing the investigation, taking bandages to the facility for testing and all. Anna is found basically sitting outside her lab, and we give it off to her, hey, compliments with the police, after they just finished ransacking your lab. Hope you can help, thanks! So, this is a direct reference to that. So they came to her lab, and now they went to my home too. Who did? The police! They raided the place. They had a warrant and everything. I already know that they have all they need to convict me. I'm going to die in prison. Why? It's because of those tests I did on you. You'll die in prison because you looked at my fingernail under a microscope? I'm a bit confused. Why don't you start from the beginning? Alright. This goes years back, and you already know half the story. I was a brilliant mind who had skipped years in school and was on the fast track through university with an incredibly lucrative career in front of me. You wouldn't believe the offers I had, based on all my accomplishments. I was still in school, and already solving problems that no one had even touched before. I had so many awards lining my shelves that new ones just went straight to the trash. I didn't need them, I just enjoyed the challenge. Besides, I couldn't care less about what some old people thought about my work, as if I needed their approval. I was already more than any of them could ever dream to be. The next problem I was going to tackle was an incurable disease. I started my research, but in an ironic twist of fate, I ended up contracting the very same disease myself. Whether someone had not been following health and safety protocols as well as they should have, or if I was just unlucky, I'll never know. But the reality was that I now had a disease that was untreatable but not curable. Sorry, that was treatable but not curable. Death to the Empire! No one but myself. I was already planning on working on a cure anyways, but what better reason could there ever be than doing it to save myself? I told no one about my affliction, and set out to do what many others had failed to. Any materials I needed to start my work were easily acquired by just waving my status around. I had free reign over my own lab. I could have even gotten assistants if I wanted to, but I knew they would only be a liability. I even had a few good leads for ways to combat the disease, although the one that I chose to pursue was not exactly legal. Not without prior approval by the council. My research was promising though, and while I submitted the paperwork, I knew that these things always moved slowly. Being pushed through the various boards and committees could have taken months, if not years, depending on how generous they would be. I just couldn't afford to wait that long, as I was working against the clock. So while I was waiting for the paperwork to be approved, I had already started with my work. I fully expected them to approve it eventually. How could they not, given that I was tackling an incurable disease? The method I was going to use was not necessarily a new one, but was controversial. It didn't even cross my mind that anyone would object, seeing as I would cure thousands if not millions of future people. But I was younger then, and a little more naive than I am now. In the end, my whole project came crashing down in flames. The proposal that I was sure to be approved was ultimately rejected, putting all the work I had already done into jeopardy. I had already made good progress at the time, too. After the rejection, there was going to be an inspection of my workplace in order to determine the progress I had made on the project, which they assumed had been within legal bounds and didn't include the controversial things outlined in the paperwork. Of course, that meeting was just going to be a pretense because I knew there were already rumors going around about what really went on in the lab. In the end, I had very little warning. Thankfully, I managed to dispose most of the egregious evidence before they arrived. They found proof of my wrongdoing, but since they didn't find evidence of how far I had already proceeded, I was able to deny most of their accusations. Using the controversial method when it hadn't been approved was still seen as a very grievous offense, however. I was charged and sentenced harshly, though the sentence was suspended due to their lack of evidence. With all that I had done for them, they knew better than to take away my license, and I was able to continue work in other areas under the conditions that it was within the council's own facility. I see. So I assume that those tests on me were against whatever conditions they set for the suspended sentence? Exactly. Why didn't you just do things the proper way and wait for the paperwork to clear? Before my paperwork would even get through, you'd be long gone. Using you as a test subject would have been a process that the council would have to discuss with humanity. As such, there might even be another trade agreement, and who knows what else. Hi, Dobble. Glad you're here. Did you miss basically the start, Anna? I guess you already know what happens with Anna here, though. I didn't have the time. Quite frankly, I don't even know how much longer I have left. This is my death sentence. You thought my test results would help you find a cure? And that's never going to happen now. How did they find out so quickly? It's not like, it's not that it's not that long since I've been to your lab. VR racing. It wasn't just those tests. There was Reza, too. But Reza told me that he didn't give you any of his blood when you asked for it. That's because that's not what I got from him. This is my life we're talking about. Do you think I didn't spend hours on the ground in the hallway in the facility after Reza's first visit, trying to find a stray hair or anything else I could use? Or that I gave him the first generator and didn't try to graze his skin just enough so that I could salvage a few skin cells? How did you find out about all this? Sorry, they. It was Damien, my assistant, and I'm not gonna say that. He was blackmailing me. Why? Because he's jealous of me, jealous of my success. He found out what I was doing with stuff I could salvage from Reza. I didn't mind giving him what he wanted, though. I just wanted to live. When he died, the police searched his apartment. They found all the evidence he had on me. And now everything is coming down. I'll be punished to the full extent of the law, and I will die in prison. My work will forever be tainted. Not that I care about that when I'm dead. Do you remember that childhood friend of mine I told you about? I never wanted to end up like her. But it seems not even I can do anything to escape that fate. Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it's my punishment. I have to die, like she did, because I left her. I'll spend my last days bedridden in a prison cell, and no one will visit me or care. And you know what? Of all the data I get from you, I might have actually found a cure. I don't want to cry in front of you. I don't want to the attention of or the pity. I don't want it. I didn't cry back when I was diagnosed, and I'm sure as heck not gonna cry now. Not say anything? Yeah, mind you. I admit that I was selfish, always, yet I did great things. At least, that's what everyone kept telling me. You know, after the whole affair back then, and the suspended sentence, rumors about me never stopped. Did they ever warn you about me? Tell you to stay away? I'm sure they have. As a matter of fact, Bryce has said that we were probably in danger. Why are you still here? I didn't listen to them, I guess. Just like you. You know, I'm not sure if she actually does. She is certainly questioning it right now because she is terminal. The council, Damien, Remy, they were always sabotaging me. If everyone just left me alone, I wouldn't even need your help. Why couldn't everyone just leave me alone? When they gave me the manager position of the facility, that was just to distract me even more, giving me free reign over the labs so I'd be tempted to do something I shouldn't. How could I not at least try? One of their oh-so-important founding principles is how every individual is important. That's clearly not the case with me. At least, they never showed it was. Now I can see just how different you are. You are the only one who came to me willingly and without any ulterior motives. Or did you? You invited me. I just took the invitation. Just to use you. You still came back for more. You let me do all those tests on you. Sure, you complained like a pro, but you sat it out for me. Complained like a pro. I owed it to you. You don't owe me anything anymore. So what? Maybe I won't have to die alone after all. I don't know if I'll be able to be there. It doesn't matter. You've already done more than enough for me. I'll remember you when I die. Anyway, enough of that. I hope you don't mind me hanging around here. My place still looks like the police raided it. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened. Do you need help cleaning up? No, I can pay someone to do it later. I just don't want to be there right now. Nice apartment you've got here, by the way. Not quite as fancy as mine, but this isn't bad either. I guess the council treats you nicely, huh? Hey, it wasn't my decision. You're such a VIP, aren't you? I can't be that important if your apartment is nicer than this. Besides, after your rhetoric about being wild and all that when we went out on our date, I assumed you were more of the type of person who just lives in a hole in the ground. That's not what I said. I told you I can appreciate all kinds of different experiences. I could survive in the wild if I wanted to, though. Do you want to know where I did what I did on my last vacation? I just started walking in a random direction. I spent a week in the wilderness before I came back. Unbolting the steering wheel, wow. That must have been an adventure. I wouldn't be able to do that without tools. I could give you some tips if you'd like. Not sure if I'll ever need them, but I guess they could come in handy. Actually, there's one tip that should take care of everything. Let's hear it then. Just be a dragon. Good tip. Then you've got everything you need and don't need to rely on tools and other stupid stuff. Yeah, that's super helpful. How do you think I'm supposed to do that? Not my problem. At least she's got her smile back. Her smirk, I guess. Actually, can you tell me about your advances in genetic engineering? Maybe you could make it happen. My personal ones? I was speaking more of your society as a whole, but if you have personal experience, that could also be interesting. Yeah, easier said than done. But not our problem. We could do so much if we wanted to. Cloning, genetic scrambling, or hybrids of our various different species. Heck, we could even create new species if we wanted to, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Tampering with genetics is not allowed. Why? Our enlightened society does not see any value in it. Besides, you know about our creation myth, right? The one about humans creating it? Yeah, that one. That's the only one we have. Anyway, we are not to tamper with the perfect images after which we were created. Yeah, it really does. Maybe you could make it happen. I was just thinking, oh, well, okay, so genetic tampering, which is what she's telling us is, nope, not allowed. Of which she also apparently doesn't even listen to the council anyways, so what's the harm in asking? And what would those be? The belief is that each species was molded for a particular task, or a particular role in our society. Really? Some of them aren't even wrong. It suggests certain species should go into certain jobs, because of their naturally higher aptitude in those fields. Can you give me an example? Well, let's just say that while everyone can join the police force, you'll never be the flyer on duty unless you actually belong to a species that can fly. That much is a given. I was talking more about if there's any sort of discrimination, for example. You could say so. These structures can be pretty rigid in places, especially where the council is concerned. They really like to employ the members of the various species in their traditional roles. Ironically enough, the perpetual nuisance, you know as Remy, was a revolutionary case where that didn't happen. In what way? Well, a council's aide, particularly one who works in the archives, is usually a member of a species with more dexterous hands. You can't really have a four-legged species to do that kind of job well. And he doesn't. It's really been a disaster. He's basically become the laughingstock of the whole town. While Remy initially got the position, there was a lot of controversy about the subject. Some liked it, some didn't. I thought that for Amara, politics was a popularity contest. Doing something controversial and divisive like that doesn't really fit that image. She wasn't like that in the beginning. It certainly caused people to remember her, though, and now that people know her, she has changed her attitude a bit. It was a good move, because it kept her in the spotlight all the time, and she's using it to gain popularity now. So she just likes the attention? I don't know why she does it, and frankly, I don't care. You'd have to ask her yourself. but I doubt she'd tell you. I wouldn't expect honesty from someone like her. Politics always used to be so messy back then. Scandals, arguments, lies, they were everywhere. We do get the occasional scandal from time to time, and of course there's always rumors. You can't really make people stop talking. In a way, I'm glad we don't have to tell. We have that all. We don't have that all. Yeah. In a way, I'm glad we don't have all that anymore. Here we go. Why not? At some point, it just gets tiring. People get loud and argumentative, and those are supposed to be our leaders. That's not something people would like here. If you are a council member who wants to be popular, you don't engage in that kind of behavior. That sounds like a big change of pace. Not necessarily, since it also leads to reluctant agreements on sweeping issues. That should be talked about under the rug. You know what? That doesn't jive with me. Yeah. They like to preserve this fantasy of peace and harmony in our society. For me, it's just so fake. People pretend to be something they aren't to conform because they don't want to stand out. They become faceless puppets, like drones in a hive or cogs in a machine. What kind of a world would we live in where speaking one's mind is seen as something bad? I never held back. Now see where that's got me. I bet some would argue that it's just easier to conform. I could never do that. Besides, I don't want to. There's this thing called integrity. And if there's one thing that society needs, that's it. Now you're starting to sound like a politician. If that's what your politicians sound like, maybe they aren't so bad. Sometimes I just want to walk up to some of ours and shake them until they wake up and accept the truth. That is certainly a more peaceful, I suppose, response compared to today's political responses and all that. What is a Durg? Slang for dragon. What is the truth? I'm a scientist. Truth or facts, and that empirically verifiable by science and tests. After all, the tests I do in my job are to find out if assumptions are true or not. I suppose if you ask different people, their definitions of truth would be very different. What's truth to you, then? Truth to us! Alright, so we have some people in the chat. What is truth? Is it what feels right? Do we share her view, actually? Or, I know that I know nothing. I think that's actually a quote that Space Engineers is, there is one absolute fact, that is that nothing is absolute. I can't remember what it is exactly. Okay, so we have one for I know that I know nothing, one for I share your views. That's true, and then there is also the perspective of, what is your truth, what is mine? Because if you believe something and someone else believes something else, then you have a variation there. But you're way off of it. That is the fact of testing it with sciences and stuff. Alright, so, Justin, I know you were here earlier. Are you still around? I'm sure Shadow was around. He did say he was going to be in the chat. Because right now we have a tie between sharing her views and we know that we know nothing. Or, yeah, we know we know nothing. I think someone did drop in the chat the concurrent views I have did drop my one. So I'm not actually seeing Justin right now. I imagine he might be in a game right now. Shadow, I don't know why he's not responding to me in the DM, so Dice have said to share her view. There aren't nearly enough people like that around here. Yeah, it very well could be. In fact, going backwards. Truth is what I feel is right, and I guess that one is really just not. I know that I know nothing. Yeah, kind of the true statements. Relatively. I share your views. Truth is what I feel is right. No, that's more your own empathy, I guess. Right, not nearly enough people. Yeah, that's right, Doc. Scientific process, methodology, and all that. That's a good point. These seem to like talking about this kind of stuff, though. Not an ambassador for nothing, you know. You're an ambassador so you can discuss the nature of truth with different cultures. You know, even if you ask the wrong kind of person, these kinds of discussions could turn very ugly. Yeah, it would lead to a lot of problems. Truth is what I feel is right is, I guess Jurassic Park 3, where that one guy, Ian, I think it was, had the dragon eggs, and he said that he took them with the best of intentions. So, per the statement of truth is what I feel is right. Dr. Grant responded with the worst things imaginable have been done with the best of intentions. So, if you were to put that into perspective, the first option is kind of absolutely not. Turn very ugly. I'm certainly here to learn about what you're thinking and how your society works on a deeper level. Of course, I wouldn't just walk up to someone on the street and start talking. Maybe you should talk with someone in social settings then. Not necessarily. Even if someone like that gave me their opinion, it's still important to hear other people's voices themselves. A jab at RPGs? No. Not as far as I know. There is an RPG scene with Remy set in chapter 1. Okay, anything else you want to know? How much do you really like me? That's not the kind of question I was expecting. Tell me when things went down, and you said you don't really know anyone else. Oh, walking around and just talking to random people. I don't know. I could walk down the street and start talking to some random too. So what? Is it that hard to admit that you like someone? You know me a little by now. You know what I'm like. Whatever you're looking for, you know that I'm not that kind of material. Not even as a friend? You want to use emotionally laden words to describe our relationship? We've met a few times. What does that do for you? This isn't about me. Before anything happens to either of us, I just want to know. Want me to tell you how I feel about you? Even if something happened between us, you know it's not made to last. We'll go back to your own world, and I'll probably spend the next few years in prison. You wouldn't like to admit it anyway, would you? True, I wouldn't let something like that hold me back. People don't like me, and I don't like people. That's how it's always been. Right now, though, I'd have to say that you're probably the person I hate the least. That's just something, I guess. And I also can't deny that you have a certain exotic quality about you. Now you're talking. But enough about me. If you've put up with me for this long, it can't all just be your own unselfish kindness, can it? Alright guys, so are we smitten with her since the first time we saw her? Do we not hate her too? Or did we just do it to be nice? Alright, so Raven says we did it to be nice. Doppel says that we're smitten. Alright. Justin, if you were in the chat, Shadow, anyone? Answers? Just gonna roll my dice here real quick. In fact, I think I did also give Justin a heads up about the scene, and I don't know if I specifically warned her about the option here. Yeah, you put one answer in Discord here. Okay, no, I just told him I advised him an answer. Hi Justin, we've got a choice here. Do you want to pick an answer? Okay, Shadow says top 4 mid. Well, if you want a random answer, I would suggest Angels with Scaly Wings here. Great. Or go with Space Engineers. I'm putting that one. And they had a new DLC for Frostbite, which I do not yet have. What it means? This is in the context of. We're asking her what is it about us, and she says, well, people have always hated me, I hated people, so right now, you're the person I hate the least. And we said, that's something. And she admits that there's a certain exotic quality to us. Now you're talking. But enough about her. Why are we here? Why do we put up with her for so long? Well, that's what this is. Struck with it. Struck with instantaneous love or adoration. With the dictionary. That's fantastic. Alright, so, Shadow has said either the first or the second, Malcolm wants the first, and Price wants the third one. My dice is at the first, so, Justin wants first or second. Okay, so that answer is smitten with her. Oh, looking back, that actually explains a lot. Wow, okay. Why else would you follow my every whim? Not that I mind, we both got what we wanted, and now I even kinda like you. Usually, people stay away from me after the first date, because that's apparently all it takes. Not for you, I guess. You know, this might be our last opportunity to do something. Why not make it worth it? Okay. Warning? For literally all people under 13. This is not for children under 13. Oh, okay, so we also have a choice. If you say so. Just because I'm amused. Is that a yes? Yes. Topple wants to abstain, Justin wants to do it. Alright, might as well dice roll this. What was the choice? Okay, so the dice say, okay. Is that a yes? Yes it is. She strode forward, reaching out with a claw before she hooked it to the necktie of my shirt. Justin, I'm going to be sharing this with you later, just so you know. I really just like the artwork here. What are you doing? Well, we have to take those off, don't we? Oh, hey. Not like that. You'll ruin them if you do it. Alright, alright. You're so fussy. I really, really enjoyed this series. Duty, Chapter 5. Alright, so this is coming up to the end of the Anna story. So next week we will have an entirely new story, the good endings, from either of our favorite characters. How anatomically possible it would be? Oh, I mean, jeez. We can't talk about it on stream, this is YouTube. After a night of turbulent dreams, my consciousness returned to the shores of the waking world. Today is the day of the big fireworks. Who shall I bring? How about Anna? That must be her. Oh yeah, and I'm wondering about the status. Oh hey, we've got her impressed, and Bryce has not been abandoned. Hey Cabbage, looks like you're ready to go. I didn't think you'd want to go to the community event like this one. Anything can be fun with the right company. Ooh, anything can be fun with the right company. With that argument, we could stay right here. I haven't seen the fireworks in years. With all the crazy crap that's been happening to me recently, maybe they'll be a reminder of better days. The weirder it gets. Just don't. Better days? You don't usually talk about yourself like that. That's because I don't give a dang anymore. Who cares if you know that about me? Who cares if the entire town knows? I certainly don't. Even more so with Bryce. Yes, especially with Bryce. I think, just because it's so amusing, the picture with Bryce is my favorite. I guess in terms of Anna, she would probably be the sexiest as such. It's because I don't, right. These days I've been, just trying to, these days I'm just trying to make the most of whatever is left. Even more? Okay. Alright, let's go now. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. So much for the whole town being out to watch the fireworks. Yeah, I'm not going to those places. I'm kind of a celebrity, you know. Really? For better or worse, people know about me. Of course they would, given my intellectual status. Nothing wrong with it. Or maybe they just don't want to be seen with me. Sorry, you don't want to be seen with me. No, that's not it. Actually, that would be kind of fun. It would only be another reason for people to be jealous of me. Okay. Oh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly as the stillness of the night enveloped us. Soon I heard the sound of the first rocket making its way into the night sky, after which it exploded in a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous noise echoing throughout the land. Yeah, that's fair enough. Suddenly, a terrible realization hit me. Considering how public of an event this was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks, now would be the best time for Reza to make his move. Not only was the village basically deserted, but the sound of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving as much security as he would ever need. As the portal had been repaired by the mysterious person I met, now was the perfect time for Reza to make his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. Anna, I think we need to go, now. Really? Fireworks just started. I know where Reza is. We need to stop him. Speak for yourself. This isn't my responsibility. This is much bigger than you. Are you going to help me or not? Well, alright, just for you. What do you want me to do? Fight him? I'm not sure if that would be such a good idea. I want to try talking to him first. If you can buy us some time, maybe I can get some help. That would be perfect. You'll be at the portal. Let's go. Not too Frenchy, but it is a pretty good story. Yeah, it is very immersive to me as well. Basically, the cringe is when it comes to something like porn, and I did accidentally get the achievement off screen. It gives you the statement like, congratulations, you built the excellent sphere. Well, actually formed it, so this should be his achievement. And then there's also the impressed from chapter 1 at the end, where she in turn responds like, please leave a message after beep on your to leave a message here. Beep. And then she adds, hey, this wasn't your answering machine, it was I, Adine, making a reference to JoJo. I arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. I couldn't help but be glad that it was still turned off and it didn't appear to have been used recently. That meant Jez was still here somewhere. I looked around, thinking about where he could be, or if it was worth waiting for him. Here, when I saw something, I reported my eye. There was a suitcase leaning against the portal. When I opened it to check its contents, I was surprised to find a few eggs inside. I had no doubt this was Rez's doing. Apparently he had broken into the hatchery, stashing the eggs here, or he hadn't used the toilet just yet. Given that he hadn't left yet, he clearly still had unfinished business in the area. The underground building, the administrator had told me all about the AWSW generators within. That probably hadn't been hard for residents to guess the same, or to try stealing them from a place he knew that would be even more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. I have not played Darkest Dungeon myself. They also didn't have far to go from the portal, all things considered. It was the only option that made sense to me. I could have waited for Reza, but in the end I decided that it would be better to meet him underground. If there was going to be a confrontation, I was sure I would have the advantage of more crowded space. You don't read books? Oh, right, the H.P. Lovecraft? I guess that'd be more of a D&D kind of thing, RPG, tabletop. Even in the darkness, it was easy for me to spot the site where it had unearthed the building's entrance, as well as in a roped-off area that I had seen from afar before. When I entered the building, I was met with a long, illuminated hallway that was lined with doors on both sides. Since the lights were already on, Reza had to be very close. I wasn't surprised at the building still having electricity, since its generators were also powering the portal. Suddenly, one of the doors opened, and out came Reza, carrying a large cardboard box. When he spotted me, he set it on the ground. Oh, sorry about that. Is that good now? Cabbage, you're here? You don't know how glad I am to see you. I've wanted to talk with you for so long. I even tried to contact you, but I couldn't with someone tailing you the whole time. Alright, that's good. But talking can wait. Now that you're here, we've got something. Come on, help me with this, and let's get out of here. No. No? What are you talking about? Largely the exact scene. There is a variation or two. Has everyone seen the scene? I could skip ahead then. No? What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything until you answer a few questions. Want to talk now? Sure, why not? We've probably got a few hours if we wanted to. None of them will disturb us here. We even have, we could even get the backup generator as well after we send this one over. When did you realize we were in the past? How did you know about the comet? You are right. I do generally skip this one. I know Doggle has been here before because he's beaten the game. Justin, I'm pretty sure he's seen this as well. And I don't know if Shadow's seen this. I suppose we could skip ahead and catch this next time. Alright, so So listening to you is fun and all. Just skipping ahead through all that. Listening to you is fun and all, but the grown-ups must get back to work now. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't stop me now, anyways. Maybe I can. Suddenly, Maverick and Anna appeared next to me. You planned this, didn't you, Cabbage? Yes, I think that is... I think most of the changes are with race grade ending, I think. Because I do remember one of the endings is where Reza is basically acting differently. You can also just hold down Control or press Tab and it'll start skipping stuff, and it will stop at any unseen text before. So you can also use that as a sort of a marker. Just hold it down, start skipping res, and then when it stops at like Maverick there, maybe I can, then you know, okay, so this is new text. You planned this, didn't you, Cabbage? Traitor! And to think I let you distract me with such a cheap trick. That's been done over and over again. Avoid skipping. Avoiding skipping does keep you in the immersion and all, and I can understand that. Skipping, I sort of ended up doing a fair bit because it's just faster. For a moment you thought Anna said that, okay. Such a cheap trick, just because I thought there was a shred of humanity within you. Yeah, you planned this, didn't you? Sorry. He pulled his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Just let me go, and I'll forget this thing ever happened. You've got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you really think you can do that, Reza? You think this is worth risking your life for? I've been risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during this time? Sip champagne in your nice apartment? Besides, this generator and the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity. Suddenly, the administrator came out of the shadows in the hallway behind Reza. No, they belong to me. Confused, Reza spun around, aiming his gun at the newcomer who was slowly walking towards him. Who the heck are you? Freeze! I said freeze! Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free. You can't stop all of us. If you say so. He pulled the trigger and the administrator fell to the ground with a dull thud that knocked her mask off. My first instinct was to run away, but as Maverick started charging, so did Anna and I. Maverick was fast, pouncing on Reza before he even had a chance to aim at any of us. As he was knocked to the ground, and Maverick embedded his teeth into his body before him. Reza was screaming. He aimed at Maverick's head and frantically pulled the trigger twice. The jaws dislodged, and Reza aimed his gun in my direction. Suddenly, Anna jumped in front of me as the deafening bang of several more shots rang out through the hallway. While I was unharmed, Anna was hit multiple times and fell to the ground. While I watched Reza's hand dive into his pocket for more ammo, Anna's harsh breathing filled my ears. Quickly, I dove behind the generator box for cover and saw Anna opening her muzzle and spraying some liquid in Reza's direction. And we've seen that liquid before. Reza looked at her in bewilderment before he suddenly burst into flames. He started flailing his arms around wildly, trying to put out the fire. But the flames didn't stop. He tried to get up, but failed as he fell once more and squirmed around on the floor, shrieking in agony. A short time later, his body slumped and his cries stopped as he laid on the ground, motionless. I watched for a while as the flames continued burning the now lifeless body. I went over to Anna, only to realize she was covered in blood from the bullet wounds. She was breathing heavily, but was alive. What, the fire from Anna thing? Yeah, I suppose it would, being dragons. Yeah, this is I would say almost content warning. This is an emotional scene. This looks bad. I have to do something to stop the bleeding. Don't bother. Oh, and picture for you all. Let me just save. Oh, no, not upload. Save. Let me just make sure that didn't save. Yeah, right there. Just for pictures later. Don't bother. Based on where you got me, I'll be gone soon. Don't say that. I've done autopsies before. I know how this goes. No one can help me now. You jumped in front of me, Anna. Why? Why did you do it? Tis but a scratch. That's not what she's saying, Justin. I only had a few months left to live. If I was lucky, that is. Anything past that wouldn't even be a life worth living. Would you want to spend your last days strapped to a hospital bed, slowly wasting away until nothing is left but a mere shell, a shadow of your former self? They can prolong my life, but they can't save me. But by doing this, I could save you, so I did. I know you have it in you, to achieve and succeed at what you set out to do, even if I couldn't. Even if you, if they'd have me rotten... Sorry. Even if they'd have me rot and die in prison rather than finding a cure for myself, and who knows how many others. Just make it count, cabbage. Before I could answer, her head slumped. She was dead. I looked around the room. The fire had stopped, but it certainly became eerily quiet as I checked on the others. There's poor Maverick. There's roasted Reza. That does not look nice at all. While I confirmed that Maverick and Reza were dead, I was glad to discover that the administrator was still alive. I had found a first aid kit in one of the rooms and used it to dress her wounds. After a bit of rest, she was able to get up and we walked outside. What are you planning to do now? I don't know, Izumi. What do you think we should do? We have to stop the comet, after all. Oh, have you not seen this ending yet, Doppel? I know you've seen most of them. So you remember my name. What else do you remember? I know we can stop the comet, but I also wanted to help humanity. Oh yeah, I remember. This is where we turn rogue against Izumi. I'd be just like Reza if I didn't try. You know, just helping one world and disregarding the suffering of the other. That's why I was asking for your plan. Sending generators now would be out of the question, since we need all we can gather in order to stop the comet. That is correct. Unfortunately, I also know that by the time we've stopped the comet, humanity will have given up on the portal and disconnected its power source, so we won't be able to help them afterwards. You remember well. Oh, you have? Okay. Yeah, generally, just the endings are always emotional. The administrator has once more. You remember well. The solution to this would be rather simple. We just let them know to wait a while longer while the dragons recover from expending all their power sources to stop the comet. We could just send them a letter. I'm afraid that won't be possible. And why is that? After what happened during some of our other attempts, I decided to delete the coordinates to humanity's portal when I repaired this one a few days ago. But the portal has ways to locate other functional portals, right? We could re-establish the connection. Unfortunately, looking for other portals through time and space would be a significant energy expenditure, and we can't afford it right now. Not if we want to stop the comet. I would question that, Justin. I reject this outcome. If there's no way to send help, I'll go back the day of my arrival and try again. That's why you put the coordinates in, after all. No, this is not your call to make. These coordinates were only to be used in emergencies, or if we failed. As far as I'm concerned, we did fail. Look at this world, and what they have achieved under my guidance. You want to jeopardize this for a chance, just a chance, to save your city as well? That's what I came here for. Reza too, but he's dead now, so I'm the only one they have left to fight for their survival. I can't just leave them now. As nice as it would be, a life here would be a life built on the suffering of others. I wouldn't be able to live with myself, knowing that I could have helped others, but didn't, because I took the easy way out. As far as I'm concerned, this isn't over yet. You want to save those who sent Reza and his supporters? Is this really about humanity, or about Anne? She sacrificed herself for you. She sacrificed herself for you, not for you to undo it all again. It is her sacrifice that makes it all possible to save this world now. Is that not enough for you? No, I'm going. If that is your final decision, you leave me no other choice. Suddenly, I saw her reaching for something under one of her pockets. When it parted to reveal Reza's gun, I quickly grabbed it and pointed it out of the way before Izumi pulled the trigger. In the ensuing scuffle, I managed to wrest it away from her and hit her in the face with its blunt end. She collapsed and pain and blood started running down her cheek, where the impact had opened a gash. She squirmed on the ground. I turned to her before I took my leave. You know what? For all Reza has done, you sure don't seem that different from him when it comes down to it. Goodbye. As I made my way to the portal to return to the day of my arrival, I thought about what had just happened, and what I would do now. If anything, Izumi's actions had only strengthened my resolve to make things right. Just right. After all, I had all the time in the world to try. You've seen Anna's bad ending. Sacrifice. Alright, so we now have Emra over here in the corner, because we have met with the politician. And that would be Anna over there. So, who's that? That looks like it has to be Remy. Just in reference to Raven, oh, it is canon actually. What happens by explanation is every time the portal over here is used, it sends you back to whatever point it is. So the more you actually keep using it, it's like dislodging the anchor of the one side of the wormhole. So when you get there, it kind of rehooks, and there are gaps, and there could be more and more gaps. So just in the end, you have the potential of remembering things, like how we actually remembered Izumi's name, which was actually from Remy's bad ending, where we asked her, okay, so what's your name? Izumi. Okay, and here we just had Anna's bad ending, so Izumi, what are we gonna do now? Ah, you remember. So the idea here is the mechanic. You're gonna remember tidbits of information is what happens. Everybody remembers tidbits of information. Sebastian no longer gets killed because we've met with him. I imagine Kitsuharu here and Emra are going to be in the park from now on. You know, after chapter 4, selling his ice cream. Zhang is... I'm not sure what he's actually up to. And Kevin, he's just doing the college, I guess. Here's a picture of Sebastian. Zhang. Emra. Oh yeah, we don't actually have a picture of Emra yet, so here's Emra after we painted all of her horns and us. Probably also posed for the massage we gave her. Katsuharu and his ice cream in the park with us. Kevin playing an arcade game when arcades were a thing. And Reza himself. I assume that was from... I can't tell if that was from the evil or the neutral ending. Anyways, from now on, we are going to be doing the good endings. So again, you have the choices of Remy. We don't have statuses from here. But they just remember tidbits of information from what happens previously. Alright, sorry, I was not reading the chat at all, basically, during that time. And the whole thing is one giant timeline. Yeah, that's basically what Dobble says, is it's one giant timeline and you're solving a piece of the puzzle every time you run through. That is honestly the best way of explaining it, I guess. Yeah, alright, so that would be it for this stream, and if you're worried about all the dergs, there is hope. There is plenty of hope. In fact, that's coming up in the next several weeks, as we do the good endings. It's over for this stream, that is. But it will pick up again next week, and we can pick any of the dragons you want. Again, literally any of them, because we've done all the bad endings, so we can do them all again now. Get the good endings. And, okay, no, I could start another game right now, but I'm not going to. But you could let me know who you want to go see next if you are that interested. I'll be asking next week in Discord. Just let me know, and I hope you have a good day. I had a notification about Doppel's late night Minecraft, I think, starting up in... well, it'll be under 30 minutes now. So, go watch that, I suppose, and see you guys later.